Hello, my name is Lloyd Lane. I'm a certified clockmaker, certified by the American Watchmaker and Clockmakers Institute in Harrison, Ohio. I own and run the Cuckoo Clock Hospital in Annandale, Virginia. My webpage is www.cuckooClockHospital.com. I'm also the owner / moderator of the Cuckoo Clock Club, which is a group on Yahoo. I invite Cuckoo Clock repair professionals and vendors to join us. In this final section, I want to do a short recap of what we've done in this DVD. This is the overall outline we've been following. Our first task started when the clock arrived on my doorstep. The clock was dirty and some parts were missing. Before starting on the clock, we did a sidebar on all the tools I used to work on this clock. This proved to be interesting, if for no other reason than the number of tools used. I hope you got some good ideas for use in your shop. Then we started taking the clock apart. First we took off the hands. Then we pulled out the bird. Then we took out the bellows. Then we pulled out the music box, and we talked a bit about the dampers on the fingers of the comb. Then we pulled out the movement, and finally we took out the dancers. Once we had the clock disassembled, we started cleaning up the pieces. We cleaned the bird. We cleaned the hands, the chains, the dancers, and the movement. With the movement, we first stripped the sleeve-like parts off the movement and then cleaned all movement parts. Then we had to put the movement back together. The key step was to make sure that the cams on the front of the clock were synchronized with the rack and snail. You will recall that half of the bellow tops had been ripped off. We went through the various steps for installing new bellow tops. I made the point that I would not cover oiling since the anticipated audience would know how to do that. We then reinstalled the dancers, the music box, the movement, and finally the bird. We learned about the wires controlling the music box and took the time to bend them so that the music box was properly synchronized with the clock. Then we installed the bellows. Finally, we began testing the clock. At that point, I discovered that the spring on the bird perch was not tight enough. We had to disassemble the clock down to the level where we could work on the bird perch spring. Then we had to put it all back together again. I showed you the setup I used for setting the beat, but like with oiling, I assume the audience knows how to set the beat and did not discuss it. Oiling and beat setting details are potential subjects for an upgrade of this DVD. We then put the complete assembled clock on the wall and tested it for a couple of weeks while we waited to be paid and for the check to clear at the bank. Lastly, we wrapped up the clock in a large ball of bubble wrap, placed it in a box, and shipped it off to the owner. It is apparently running fine. I enjoyed the clock while I was working on it and during the period it was on my test wall. I hope the owner is enjoying it now. I also enjoyed putting this DVD together. I hope you have enjoyed watching it. Please send any comments you might have to the addresses shown on the screen. Version 1.0 will essentially have the same content as version 0.9, except that I will take the time to do a little housekeeping that I haven't done in the preparation of the version 0.9. Up until June 1st, the cost of each copy of version 0.9 will be $29.95 plus $5 shipping and handling. After June 1st, the cost of each copy of version 1.0 will be $39.95 plus $5 shipping and handling. Your order should include the information shown on the screen.